Wes, we're at it again, buddy.
Number 2 of a rack and stack. You gotta love it.
It is. It's almost like the air traffic control, but I don't want it to be as bumpy as it was my last trip. Whew. I had I did a post of an airplane doing this, flopping up and down and turning around in midair. That was after a million years of flying, the worst that it's ever been. All the way from Detroit Metro to probably the Florida Georgia line.
And, oh, wow. That's too long.
And I finally, they let us get up to go to the bathroom because they felt like it was a little bit better. And I went to the back of the plane, and the flight attendant, he said, yeah. I said, man, that's as long as I've ever had. He goes, I've been doing this 20 years of, a flight attendant. He said, my lunch bag is all the way over there. He said, there's a couple of those. I mean, it just flew right out of my hand. It was, there was one where I thought, okay, this could be it. This might be the one, but no. But anyway, we do. So we will hope for safer air on the show than I had on that one.
The question is, did the door stay on the plane?
They did.
Okay.
They did, and I did a good thing, not intentionally, but so I was in the middle seat. My granddaughter's flying back with me for a few days, and the lady next to me, and she knew with just little early chit chatting that I fly quite a bit, and that one that did the up and down and sideways and everything and flipped upside down and all at one time, right? She looks at me and she goes, I was just making sure. She says, if you're not scared, I'm not scared. I said, I'm not scared. I didn't love that, I'll be honest, but I'm not scared. I mean, but if I was honest with her, that had me for a second. Like
if she'd have stared over at me and saw my face was white as a ghost, I'd have been like, well, this is how we're gonna go, lady.
Yeah. That was it. Yeah, I did. And then we'll get away from this because we got somebody way more interesting. But I remember flying into someplace, and this young girl, 20-ish. I don't think she'd ever flown before, and it was pretty rough coming in. It was winter storms, and all I know is that at one point in time, all of a sudden, she's got her arm just squeezing my forearm. And I look over at her, and she's just staring ahead. And I'm going, okay, I'll let her have this because she's like scared to death. I think my hand was almost numb by the time we landed. But she was just, scared out of my, because we finally landed. She goes, oh my God, sir, I'm sorry. I said, it's good. We've all been there. I get it. But yeah, it is what it is. So
she looked over and you were smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. Oh, Wesley. Hey, as entertaining as that was.
Yeah.
Let's get Zach and Robert on here from Instinctive Metals because that's going to be another great industry talk. And I'm just looking forward to chatting with these guys. So you and me, let's just stop and go.
All right, let's do that.
Let's go get them. All right. Robert and Zach, how you doing, my friends?
Hey, Randy. Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to have you guys on today. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to come chat with us about this incredibly fun industry that we live in.
Oh, thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us, Randy.
You're welcome. So, Robert, you are the president and founder of Instinctive Metals.
Yes.
And Zach, you are the sales manager there at Instinctive Metals. And so we're just... I grew up when we was talking off air. I got 4+ decades in this crazy industry and love every bit about it. And it's always great to bring fellow pros into the show and chat about the industry. So, as we get started here, number one, thank you for being here. But Robert, how did Instinctive Metals get started? Let's get right to the chase and go back to the history.
Okay, excellent. So Instinctive Metals started in Detroit in 2021. So we're going into our 3rd year in business now, which is excellent. My background is my family owns a commercial roofing company in Youngstown, Ohio, Roof Rate Incorporated. So that's how I got into the industry. I was basically born into it. So Zach and I are actually both transplants to Michigan. Zach's from St. Louis originally. I'm from Ohio. So moving to Michigan here, we saw the opportunity and we started the business in 2021, and it's been gangbusters ever since.
Awesome. So, Zach, did you know Robert prior to coming to Michigan, or did you guys meet in Detroit?
Yeah, that's a really interesting story. Kind of a right place, right time situation for both of us. I had known Robert probably for the last 10 years or so. We were trying to go back to the origin of our relationship, and it was in Cleveland. Robert was living there, and I had a short stint with a ski area operation in Cleveland, believe it or not. And through friends of friends, Robert and I met, and we hung out during our time in Cleveland. And that's when our relationship started. And it wasn't until I moved back to Michigan with my wife and my family that we kind of rekindled the relationship again. And he reached out to me, basically trying to figure out some time to go grab some beers and have a cigar together. And next thing I know, Instinctive Metals has gotten to a point where Robert was looking to grow, and it asked me to kind of come and spearhead the sales portion of it. So, like I said, right place, right time. Had I not moved to Michigan during this last year, it probably would not have come to fruition. So, I'm super lucky.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So the 2021, so you're 3 years in. The business has been good to you so far.
Very good. Yes, the Detroit market is great, and the customers here have been great. Just a great market to be in.
So what's your general customer base? What's your model? What's the model customer that you would go after?
So our model customer would be commercial roofing and wall installers.
Okay.
Our mix of business is roughly probably about 60% edge metals. So we go hard after the flat roofing industry. We also sell metal roofs and metal walls.
Okay.
And we also distribute flat sheets, accessories, things like that.
Are you doing in your metal walls? You doing some steel studs, steel girts, I should say, steel studs?
So we don't do the structural side.
Oh, okay.
We're all on the architectural side.
I got you. Okay.
So wall panels.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
And all over Michigan and Ohio, it sounds like now.
Yes. We actually we have another individual starting in Cleveland to cover that market.
Yeah, that should be a good market for you over there. For that, your base of business, that should be really good. So you started in 2021. You still own the roofing company in, you said Akron area?
Youngstown, Ohio.
Youngstown.
Yep. Yeah, still involved. My dad and brother are there daily. They run the day-to-day operations, but still involved with it. And they've been a tremendous resource, that being able to, since we don't install, we just fabricate in Instinctive. Mm-hmm. Being able to have a installer basically at our beck and call to bounce questions off of different things like that has been a tremendous asset to get into this industry.
Oh, absolutely. We was talking to a guest just prior to this show and talked about how manufacturers really need to be out there grassroots working with the installer, because
absolutely
so many times I think in our industry, or any industry actually, to be fair, it's there's somebody or a group of somebodies that comes up with this bright idea of this new product, this new greatest invention, this new great widget, with no idea whether it's going to work or not work in field, or if there's even a desire to have it in the field. And doesn't it make more sense to maybe, I don't know if reverse engineer is the right term, but the more we can go to that in the installer and say, we're pretty good at making stuff. What can we make for you? What are you missing out there that man, if you could do this for me, or take something that's already being made and maybe modify or change it up a little bit. And so I think, like you said, having that at your beck and call, as you said, with family members is huge, because you're not just introducing stuff just because you think it's some great idea, right?
Right, absolutely. Our business starts and stops with the installer. The product that goes out there. Everyone's heard the saying, everything works on paper until. Right. So we need to get out there more as an industry, to your point, and be with the installers, be there on the job sites, because the buildings aren't all built square either. Walls aren't 90, right? Yeah, exactly. Walls aren't 90 degrees. So there's everything there that we need to get more input, and we need to go out there and create those conversations.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's where, Zach, your team comes into play from the sales aspect, right? Is being more of a consultative sales professional as opposed to just I'm selling you some steel product, whatever that may be, right? It's I'm selling you. You've got to be much more in what you do, especially in that commercial industrial area, more of a trusted advisor, more of that solutions oriented, as opposed to just, well, we got some rolled products and we've got some cladding and we got stuff, whatever that stuff is. You're really more solution based, right, in your sales approach.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have to be, because I'll be the first person to admit I'm not on the roof. I've never been a roofer, right? So I think the thing that really makes us unique is that we get to rely on people like Robert and the information and knowledge that they have for us to just simply provide solutions. I've noticed a lot of time in my short time here, people will ask us questions about how to put, they know they need metal for a particular piece of the roof. But to know that we have the knowledge what goes on that roof and why, that is, I think, a really huge advantage for us, is to know that why, and that comes with our knowledge and history in the industry.
Exactly. No, I think that's a great point. So, Kurt, Zach, I had a Kurt I was talking to this morning for 3 times, so Kurt's stuck in my head. So Zach, when you, how much of your time do you spend out on the job site then with customers? I'm guessing, because I know you and I chatted for an hour or so, maybe a month or so ago now, and I really liked your enthusiasm for being with your customer. How much of your time do you spend actually out with customers as opposed to, I don't see you as an office guy a lot. I mean, I'm sure you have some time you spend there, but I feel like with our conversation and just our little bit today, being out there, being instinctive. I like that name, by the way. How's that for a segue? I can't write one, but I can make them up. How much time do you spend out there? Because that's pretty important, I think, to you.
Yeah. I mean, I think our goal would be to be about 75% of our time would be with our customers. Already in the short amount of time that I've had, where I just started around Thanksgiving time, and Robert and myself delivering our product to our customer right on the job site, I think is pretty cool. Obviously, we've just heard coming out of a deep freeze here in Michigan, and and it's been the holidays, so lately not as much time on the road. Right. But I think that our goal as a business model and as our sales team, we will be on the road with our customers and our clients nonstop, just hitting the pavement, driving across the state, getting into Ohio and seeing how our product is applied to the job site. And then, getting back on to, promoting what our clients have done, promoting their business, and then of course, promoting our products. So that's a big deal for us. Yeah.
So you, I noticed, as I follow you on LinkedIn and maybe a couple other social media platforms, but especially LinkedIn, which for the B2B world is kind of where I live a little more than anywhere else. You do a really good job with promoting and talking about not only what you do, but you just hit on that, Zach and Robert. I wanted to get your thoughts on this too. Promoting your customer, not just promoting product that Instinctive makes, but promoting the use of it and the customers and what they're doing and how they're using it. You had one earlier today, I noticed real briefly as I was doing another podcast, but I love to see that kind of interaction with your customer base.
Yeah, I mean, they're the reasons why we're in business, so if they aren't successful at what they do, then we're not going to get the call back. And I think that, as you know, Randy, I'll be honest, I took that lead a little bit from you, having seen your actions on social media, website, just being present, and putting accountability behind the product that you're selling, right? So if we're not promoting the job that people are doing with our material, then what's the point? So we really want that to be, kind of a focal point of every relationship that we have, is to showcase, the people that work with us. They're the ones doing the job. They're the ones making our material look good. So if we're not helping them in that capacity, I don't think we'd be as successful.
Exactly. No, I think it's a two-way street in today's world. I think if you develop those relationships with your customers, they promote you, you promote them. You work with each other because you both need each other, right? It's not you just need a customer or they just need a supplier. You need each other, right? There's not good customer relationships on every street corner to go find, right? So when you develop that, right, Robert, you want to just take that and treat that the way it needs to be treated and develop that for a long-term relationship. And one of the best ways you can do that, and I love what you guys do with that, is to assist your customer in moving your product. Because as you said, Zach, they're the ones installing it. They're the ones that's going to make that buying decision whether they need something that Instinctive has or they don't. So I think it's super important for the ultimate customer out there to see that there's some synergy, right, between the supplier and the installer, and I think you guys do a really, really good job with that, Robert.
Oh, I appreciate that. One of our big things when we started this business was really we wanted to be partners. Everybody that comes through the door, we want you to look at us as your sheet metal department in your roofing company or your wall company. So the partnership is really what we're trying to build with everybody. And that's the one that, exactly like you said, pushing people's projects out there that look great, because without the installers, our product is nothing. It's in a warehouse. So really and doing that has been an unintentional, we have gotten a lot of referrals that way from our customers to other roofing companies, their friends, because everybody talks in this industry, as you know. Right. So really the not seeing as transaction based and a partnership is really what we're looking for.
And that's a key word. Love that you brought that up, because Zach, I think you and I talked about that a few weeks ago when we was chatting. the death knell, if you will, of good long-term business is that transactional word, right? When it just becomes a transaction, we as the supplier end of that are going to always lose. And I like to believe, or I believe, I guess I should say, that it's also the same for the buyer. Is don't allow your, let me back up. As a supplier, we don't want to ever allow a situation to get to where it's strictly transactional. Because as we all know, that means if you got the right number today, then I'm going to do business with you. If not, then we won't be next week. And we can't live and die off of that, right?
Right.
But I think the same thing is I would caution the buyer in that buy-sell relationship to demand and not allow your supplier to treat you transactionally either. Like you're just a customer, right? You're just a customer, and if you're not buying something from me, I don't have a whole lot of time or interest in you. I think you build those long-term relationships by developing that relationship to where if you got something today, I don't have to make any money today off of this conversation, right? It's a long-term process because, again, transactional by definition is if we don't ring the cash register today, we didn't accomplish anything. And in a relationship-based B2B world, I think the farther we can, the transactions always have to happen. I don't want anybody to just read it. I'm saying we just talk to each other forever and never sell anything, and you never buy anything, because neither one of us are going to be here very long if we do that, right? But with that said, let's do it for the right reasons, because you trust me and I trust you. And the only way we handle that is to get out of the transaction, because I want transactions in my day. If I go to get a Coke, I just want to make a transaction. I don't want a relationship with the clerk necessarily. If you say hi, that's nice, but I'm probably never going to see you again, right? You're not building relationships there. But it's also, if you got a Coke here and it's $1.09, and this Coke over here in this other cooler, same size as $1.05, I'll buy the one for $1.05 because it's strictly transactional, right? But if you got a Pepsi and a Coke, I'll pay 30 cents more for the Coke because I just like Coke better. Right. So that's all done with Coke doing a great job of building relationships with me, not personally, but over time, to where I will pay more to have the product I want. And I've taken myself out of that transaction. Does that make sense? As a long version of that, but
very much so. Yes.
Yeah. It is pretty unbelievable to think the amount of time, in your 40 plus years, right, Randy, that amount of time you spent with people to keep returning back. And Coke has spent really zero time with us personally, but yet we keep coming back. So I do think that is an unbelievable analogy. But that's what we're trying to do. And that's why I think this industry is, is so unique and aspirational and kind of fun to just be in. Because you can kind of see the amount of work you put into it, you do get out of it. And I think that goes, both for the supplier and for the end user as well.
You do, and I think the key, staying on the transactional versus relationship. What you just said, I look at, you never can have enough good people in your life in any aspect. But let's just stay focused on your business world and your industry. As you know, Zach and Robert, and we've only known each other for a short period of time, but I've sent you no literature. I've sent you hey, could you take a look at this, right? Because if that ever happened, would I love it? Of course I would. Would I love to do some business with you at some point? Of course I would. But you have to let those things grow organically sometimes. And they grow organically by, we share each other's stuff on social media. We send each other little tidbits. We do these sort of things together, and that'll grow organically, or it won't. But if it grows organically, then that's meant to last, typically, as opposed to the second you reached out, Zach, and I appreciated that, and we had a conversation. I know the old school sales guy in me would have said, well, I've got this guy's email address and cell phone number now, so I need to blow him up with samples and pricing, and I want to come take you to lunch 5 times and 8 donuts and 12 cigar bar visits, trying to just hammer you into submission, right? And that would have all been why? Because I wanted the transaction, right? The difference is, I think we'll build a relationship, which we've been doing, and the transactions will or won't take care of themselves. But either way, even if they don't, and that's the way I look at it. I love both of your opinion on this. You can never have enough good people, good friends in the industry. Even if you have some friends in the industry that you bounce ideas, that you have a relationship with, that you learn from each other, and it never quite develops into a transaction for a while or maybe ever, you still won by having that good relationship in the industry. Am I right, or do you walk away from that at some time if there's just never going to be any business? I'm not saying I'm not coming and buying 12 cigars if you never buy anything. I'm just getting that on the table. But you know what I'm saying. I'm joking, but you know what I'm saying. There's a point where
I think it touches on what you told me earlier too, Randy, in our previous conversations about building your brand. And it's in every conversation is brand building opportunity, whether it ends up as a signed PO or whether it doesn't. And if one person says, "Oh yeah, I talked to those guys at Instinctive Metals," I'm never going to buy anything from them, but they're good guys. Then that is, like you said, that's a win. That's a win for us. It's a win for Robert. It's a win for Instinctive Metals. And I think that we both do business that way. And I hope that is something that people will come to find out once they engage with us more. But to your point, if someone wants to walk away, that's no problem. I think that they'll walk away at least saying good things about our company and about the people that work here.
Right. Well, and Robert, with what Zach just said, with those kind of relationships, even if you don't get to a transaction right that day, you've got another fan, right? Mm-hmm. You've got a fan that's going to tell other people. Yeah, I haven't done anything with them yet, but man, I'll tell you what, they were very cordial. They really went out of the way to help me. They gave me some information that I needed. I would definitely recommend you get a hold of the folks over at Instinctive, right? So it's still a win regardless. And what do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely, because you never know the conversations they're having. To your point, you never know who your next customer is, and maybe they're passing it along. And I'm a firm believer: good people find good people. Yes. And whether they do business together or not, there's still a relationship there. Mm-hmm. And I think that building on the point of, in this industry, one of the things we have to be cautious of, going after the transaction all the time, we're opening the door to making ourselves a commodity.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing that we have to push back on that as an industry. That it's not all about price. It's not all about making the sale. It's about that relationship you have with the people.
Let's expand on that, because that's a great point, Robert. It's, I think, as an industry, and you just hit on this. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and my wife and I are into wine. We love wines, right? And we love the wines up in Traverse City area.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time we was at a vineyard on Old Mission Peninsula. There's like 8, 9 vineyards all in that little strip of land. You guys know the area. And we, just us and the lady serving us some wine. We said, we really like this one. She says, if you like this one, she said, go down the road, and she named, I can't think of it now, but one of the other vineyards. They use the same grape, but a little different terrain, and it's got a little bit different taste, and the way they do this, she went through all the little details. I said, we will do that. But I said, interesting. Isn't that a competitor of yours? So you just literally told us to go down and see your competitor. She says, we don't see it that way. We win with the idea that you're going to buy wines and enjoy wines from Old Mission Peninsula. So if you enjoy wine, now keep in mind, wines are a little more subjective, right? Because I like it or I don't, right? It's not like this is a 29 gauge or 26 gauge. It's a G100. Right. You can put some, at the end of the day, if it's rolled on the same equipment with the same substrate, it kind of doesn't matter at that point, right? It's sort of the same. It's all the other things matter, like the service and the backup. But the point was, I felt like I still remember, because I'm talking about it, is we all win together here. We need you to think and to spread the word. Buy wines from Old Mission Peninsula. They're great. And I think that's the same thing in our industry. I've got a son that's in the metal roofing world and in the in-home sales, and he'll talk about all the time is, if you're not going to buy a roof from me, that's fine. If I can't get the price where you need to be, you just don't like my hair, you just don't like anything, whatever the case may be, please buy a metal roof from somebody, right? Because every time a metal roof gets put on, and it gets put on correctly, is still a win for all of us at every phase of the industry, correct? And absolutely. I think that's key that we all have to look at, which is why it's important that we still look out for each other in the industry. Even if you're competitors, you can still like your competitors. You can still get along with them. You can still help them if they're in trouble. Because as an industry, I think we have to grow together. That doesn't mean you don't go do battle for the business. But at the end of the day, if we start knocking everybody in the world other than what we do, for example, a fastener is a big line that I'm involved with. If I'm knocking everybody else's fastener, which number one, everybody knows that's not true, because I'm not the only guy that makes a great fastener. I could give you all the reasons why I think I do, but others work too, right? Others have really good people. But not only do you sound disingenuous, but you sound transactional then, and nobody wants to hear that from people. They want to hear, oh, that's fine. I understand if you're doing business with them, great people, nice product. I just want to let you know a little bit about what I do, and if there's an opportunity here, that's how you build business, like you said, Robert, and I think Zach both. That's how you build that long-term business, because you're not just, if it's transactional and I go, oh yeah, but I have this much more paint, or I have this much more that, and I'm also 26 cents a bag cheaper, and you come all these things. I just took everything back to a transaction again, didn't I? Does that make sense, Zach?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and I think that a lot of people in this industry do a good job at that, and that's why it's kind of interesting to kind of learn all the intricacies and all the competitors and how everyone does it a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, we're still selling metal. Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. Yep.
And our goal as an industry, none of us are going to get all the business. None of us can handle all the business. Right. So the key is we want our share at a profit and do it right. And we want to be able to come back and service your needs, during and after the install. And there has to be a profit involved with that. There has to be a relationship developed to where you want to recommend us to other people. And so it looks like you do some have some. I was looking at the website going up there. I forgot that you do have some CDAN equipment.
Yes, we do. Yep.
Great folks.
Great folks. Yeah, we love dealing with them. We have their equipment, and we have their new Evolution software as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've got to know a lot of those people really well. Ryan, especially. You probably know Ryan. And I won't get his last name, so I'm not even going to try. But I would call it Peter, but I think it's Petter, Petter, from over in Sweden or wherever they're from. I met him at a MetalCon, I think maybe. We've connected on LinkedIn or someplace and made sure to meet up. But really good people. But
great people.
Bottom line is you handle good. See, and that's key too. You've got really, really good equipment in-house. So as we kind of cruise through this thing a little bit, because I know we get to talking and we can go off on a lot of subjects. So instinctive, relationship builders, high quality product, service. What else do we need to know about instinctive, and why should people get a hold of you guys? That might even be a should ask question, maybe, because that sounds like a should ask question. But maybe both of you take a shot at that one. What's the reason that people are going to look up instinctive and buy from you guys, if it makes sense?
Well, I think that it's a two-prong approach on that one. Number one is our passion for our product. We have a very strong passion for our product in the metal roofing industry and the metal wall industry as well. And the second part of it is what we talked about at the beginning of the show. You know, the experience that we have on not just on the fabrication, but the installation side as well. Mm-hmm. You know, one of our fabricators right now has over 20 years of installation experience, who makes the products in-house here. Mm-hmm. So right there is the competitive advantage, that when you talk to us, you're talking to somebody who knows the background.
Right.
And every product that we're putting out, we know why we're making it that way and why you need it that way.
Right. That's awesome. Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if I could expound on what Robert just said, I mean, he pretty much nailed it. But, you know, we want you guys to think of us as a way to save time and cost for what, you know, the roofers and installers do best, which is to be in the field doing what they do, doing the technical installation piece of their job. And then, you know, all the other fabrication that kind of comes on top is sort of what I would say, you know, icing on the cake. You know, that's where we want to come in and be your first instinct, if you will.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
You know, and so that I think that, you know, what Robert said, with our expertise and truly with our fabricators, I do believe that, you know, in the short amount of time that I've been doing this, we do have some high quality stuff from guys that know what they're doing. That I think that saving time, saving labor costs, and having the efficiencies in place, the automation with Sedan's, you know, new IT Evolution's product is pretty cool too. So those are some of the things that we're really excited about pushing out and getting awesome. Awareness on.
And I would be remiss if I didn't, because it's an area that I love, but I love the point you said earlier. And a key that you guys do very well for yourself and with your customers is building the brand. You know, that is so key, and I don't want to let that one go, and I think we'll end on that one. Building the brand is so important. You're not just selling, and that's one of the things, Zach, when we first talked, that I really enjoyed about our conversation is I see Instinctive obviously as a high quality manufacturer, supplier, but you're building the brand of Instinctive. It's not just I make metal things, whatever those things are. You know, I make metal widgets. That's what you do, but you're building that Instinctive brand, and I love the name. And I think you guys do, meant as a compliment, a really, really good job of allowing your customers to understand that is an instinct. I like this. It's an instinctively good decision to come to you, because you position yourself in a way that I'm buying more than just some painted metal or some galvanized metal, because let's face it, there's a lot of places to buy painted or galvanized metal, right? I mean, we all have tons of competitors in everything we do. The keys still come back to building that that business and personal brand. And you guys do it well. And that's one of the big draws of why I just love everything you guys do and wanted you on the show to talk today for a while is I'm a big believer in brand building, and people watch, not only buy from these guys if it makes sense for you, for your metal needs, but watch what they do, because you guys do it right, and I enjoy that. So compliments on that.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate that coming from you, Randy. So thanks again for having us on. This has been a true honor.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And yeah, anything else, Robert? Any closing remarks? Or I'm going to let you guys get back to work and, I don't know, go bend some metal or something.
No, I really appreciate the opportunity to come on and tell our story with you. Really enjoyed this time.
And you're in Novi.
Yep.
I think you said at 12 Mile and 10, right?
We're at 10 in Novi Road.
10 in Novi Road. Okay. Yeah. So near, not too far from the malls, and
no, not at all.
We've already established there's a cigar bar in that area, so that may be in the three of us' near future.
That's right. Looking forward to it.
All right. Sounds good. Gentlemen, I appreciate your time, appreciate you on, and keep building that brand.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
Cheers, fellas.
Bye.
All right. Was those guys cool or what? Instinctive Metals in Novi, Michigan, right outside the Detroit area, between Detroit and Ann Arbor-ish, kind of. Really, really good guys. Follow them. If you have some needs where they can help you, reach out to them. I can tell you this: they practice what they preach. They're not transactional, and that's what I love about them. They want some business, love to have it, but they really go above and beyond to really service their customers' needs and get into it and understand what's really needed. So give them a call or give them a shout or look them up on the internet, follow them on LinkedIn, whatever you do. Anyways, again, thanks for jumping on today with us. I always love getting back to the industry. And, why don't you just go make it a great day? Actually, why don't you go live it, love it, own it. Keep loving what you're doing what you love. That's what I'm doing right now. And go make today your absolute, I added that in there, best day ever. Till tomorrow. Let's go. Cheers.